Yeah. Let's go. Welcome to Cree's Conversation Lounge. Ay, 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 ay. Step in the room, whole vibe shift. Timeline messy, I clock that quick. Real talk heavy, no sugar, no glaze. When Chris start talking, they stuck for days. Screenshot ready, receipts on file. Some love the truth, some hate the style. Boss talk only, I speak then react. If the story get crazy, I'm bringing it back. Talk, yeah. Boss talk, yeah, the truth run loud. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Chris Conversation, we run this crowd. Yeah, yeah. Mic high, yeah, the pressure on. Yeah, yeah. When Chris go live, they clicking on. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Boss talk, no filter, no filter, no fear. If it's real or messy, it's landing right here. Late night energy, lights stay low. Chat going crazy, views on go. No fake reactions, I keep it raw. Unpacking the drama, exposing the flaw. Some throw shade, some show love. Still trending heavy, I rise above. From viral moments to real life pain. Could break it down and run it again. Run it, let's go. Talk, yeah, the truth run loud. Yeah, yeah. Crease Conversation, we run this crowd. Yeah, yeah. Real talk, yeah, the vibe too strong. Yeah, yeah. Once you put up, you locked in long. Pour up the tea, get comfortable now. Conversation Lounge, we setting the tone. Big crit energy, facts on display. Welcome to the lounge, now press play. Yeah.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Welcome in. Welcome in. Hi, Renee Vaughn. I think this is my first time seeing your name, but welcome in. Hey, Ranithia. What's up, Tyrese? Hey, Roz. What's going on? What is going on? Good morning. Before we get into Joe McCann's latest interview with TMZ, I am going to catch everybody up real quick. And then please make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe, share, all that good stuff, please. Hey, Robin. Hey, Miss Robin. Hey, Gloria. Um, let me see here. All right. So just for the people that don't know and that didn't follow the story, Ashlee Jenae. What's up? Good morning, Special K. Um, Ashlee Jenae, 31 years old. Her legal name is Ashley Robinson. She was a lifestyle influencer, I guess we can call her. Earlier this year, she traveled to Zanzibar, Tanzania, with her fiance Joe McCann, and they were there celebrating her birthday. During that trip, well, we'll find out, which I thought he actually proposed before that trip, but during that trip, they showed a proposal. Ashley was happy, videos from the vacation on social media. Okay. Um, she passed away on April 9th, I believe. It was the 8th or the 9th. Um, Pretty much after the couple was involved in some arguments. According to police and hotel staff, they separated them into different rooms. I'm going off my notes, y'all, by the way, that I got. I made some little PowerPoints. Um, they separated them into different rooms following the argument. Uh, Later, they reported finding Ashley unresponsive, and she was taken to the hospital where she was pronounced deceased. Okay. Um, we do know that Ashley's family came out and they expressed suspicion. They wanted a full investigation. They pushed and pushed for more information from authorities. We do know Joe McCann's passport was temporarily seized. He was questioned by the authorities in Tanzania. They stated that, he wasn't a suspect. He was just a witness. And he still hasn't been accused of a crime. So he is back in the US. Let me see what else I got here. So the case is closed. They have ruled it out to be death by suicide. Um, Allegedly, I'm gonna say that allegedly, they found evidence that she was experiencing like mental health issues. And Joe, of course, has been cleared. He did just do a interview with TMZ, talking about starting to plan a foundation in the honor of Ashley, which is like suicide prevention or mental health awareness. Um, he says he wants to do that to basically share her legacy. Um, all right, that's pretty much it. So that should be good. So that should catch some people up. on that situation. So we're gonna get into this interview. Let me speak to who came in. What's up, Real Talk Vibes? Hey Tammy. Good morning. Good morning, Kimberly. Um, so we just gonna go through the interview. Um, and I'll let y'all decide on what y'all think. It is sad, Kayla. It is sad. Um, Joe, there. I still have some questions. I have some questions, and y'all probably are gonna have the same questions as we read through this. Good morning, Nikki. Tyrese say Joe is so twisty in his head. One minute he's saying he's smart and she's smart and intelligent, and then the next minute he's saying she's got bipolar, and then he say everything she do is Chat GPT, girl. Yes, literally. Let me tell y'all something. Literally, the way that he described her, every post, everything that came out of her mouth, everything y'all seen was Chat GPT. He's basically saying that none of that was Ashlee Jenae. Okay. Besides her, besides the photos of her. You know what I'm saying? But everything else was Chat GPT is what he's claiming. Um dang, and it was something else I was about to say when you said that. Oh, and this. Here, let me go ahead and share it. This, I don't like this. So this is the I cannot tell you .com, which this has got to be Joe's platform or website, because on his Instagram, that's his name. Ah, shoot. I can't I pulled it up for y'all, but it won't let me show y'all. But on Instagram, that is his name. It's I cannot tell you, which is so weird to me. And this is on his website with her with the finger over her mouth saying shh. It's kind of creepy. It's a little creepy. You cannot tell us what. What can't you tell? But I still this made me question the parents as well. But let's get into it. So the first question they asked him was, for people who only know your story through headlines, tell me about Ashlee. And I think I spelled her name wrong in my title. Tell me about Ashlee. Who was she to you? So he responds, first and foremost, her name was Ashlee Robinson with an Ly, not Ashley Lee. It's important to understand this distinction because many people knew Ashlee Jenae, but the woman I knew was Ashlee Robinson. Ashlee Jenae was a persona she created that evolved over time. Ashlee Robinson was nothing like Ashlee Jenae. Ashlee was my best friend and soulmate. Ashlee was wise beyond her years, goofy at times and funny, intelligent, extremely creative and clever, classy and elegant, sweet, and a true hustler who made something out of nothing, a quality we both shared and bonded over. He says Ashlee provided a love to me like no one ever had, and we were inseparable. Together nearly 90% of every day we dated. We truly only wanted to be with each other all of the time. In the weeks and days leading up to her passing, Ashlee began to open up to me in explicit detail about her past, namely traumatic childhood, as well as some of the abusive and dysfunctional relationships she had with prior boyfriends. What I've learned since her passing only further confirms the struggle she's faced. It's important to understand the deeply rooted pain and trauma she carried with her as Ashlee Robinson, not Ashlee Jenae. Okay, so it, when he says, in the weeks and days leading up to her passing, Ashlee began to open up to me in explicit detail about her past, namely her traumatic childhood. Um, her parents didn't talk about any. Her parents were asked on TMZ, the interview that they did she suffered from any mental health issues or any of that. They did not bring that up. Okay, which is kind of crazy to me that he's even saying in the weeks leading up to, because it's like, then why did you wait so long to open your mouth? Why did you wait so long to say, hey, she had been suffering? Why did you wait so long to release some of these messages that we're going to see in this thread? You know what I'm saying? It's like that is something, because in this thread he's gonna talk about how he felt with people accusing him. But if you felt like you were innocent from the jump and that she had already suffered from these things, you would have been sharing those things at least with the family. That's what I think. So yes, please, please, please tap that like button. Yes, I have a goal of 5 super chats. If you feel, can you please support that goal? It sounds like it, don't it, girl? Like he's writing a book. So he says TMZ Charlie Neff asks him, "What made you fall in love with her?" He says she was perfect, almost too perfect. I fell in love with her on our first date, and she did with me as well. In fact, in a text that Ashley later shared with me halfway through our dinner on our first date, her best friend checked in on her, and Ashley's response was, "We're getting married." Best friend, where you at? Is this true? So the text says, "Hope you're enjoying your night." This is from her friend. "I love you." Ashley responds, "We're getting married." She said, the friend says, "Heard it here first." Ashley laughs and says, "He's perfect." And her friend says, "I love this for you. Congrats, sister." He says, "For our first date, Ashley was 2 hours late." Well, we didn't need to know that. She texted me asking if I wanted to reschedule, and I just told her no. Girl, mm. No, I'll wait. When she approached the bar and I felt her hand tapping on my shoulder, I was like it was like electricity shot through my body. The feeling was beyond description. On that date, we learned that we share so many interests that we both consider rare. So much so that I actually captured them in an Apple Note because it was simply uncanny. Ashley mentioned the same thing to her best friend in another text that Ashley later shared with me. I want to see the Apple Note. Okay. So this is Ashley and her friend again. And it says, what her friend says, "What's not to like?" She said, "We just had a lot in common, which he wasn't expecting." Um, and then she responds back to, "He's obsessed already," he said, LOL. And the friend does this smirk look. "Enjoy, enjoy. Call me in the morning. Have a good night, pumpkin." Let me see. So it was love at first sight. Yeah. That's what he says. We can only hear his part. Um, you're absolutely welcome, Tammy. Thank you so much for supporting my goal. I appreciate you. So he goes on to talk about Ashley had an incredible, gentle, and sweet spirit. She had a loving presence that was infectious. All of my friends and family who met her all felt it. Also, she had her own thing going on and was a fellow entrepreneur like me, which was extremely attractive. I respected her hustle and she respected mine. She was She was also adaptable and comfortable in any environment, much like me. Another characteristic we shared. Whether we were watching Netflix for hours on end on the couch, her absolute favorite thing to do, or attending a business dinner, she fit perfectly and felt comfortable in her own skin and on my arm. And she wasn't afraid to act silly with me in public either. We had a running game of who could embarrass the other more, and neither of us ever won. These stories are going to have all our nervous systems screwed up. Yes, because it gets good. So, like, right, I mean, to me, it got good. I read it last night. And, right now he's just explaining, like, allegedly how he felt about her, all the things they had in common, and that stuff. You know what I'm saying? He said Ashley was just in a word, cool. She had exceptional taste, but was also infinitely curious about new experiences and ideas. And of course, she was out of this world gorgeous. The photos and the videos people see of her online, but in person, it was impossible to put into words how stunning she was. Um, Joe, here you go. Joe, you almost 60. What kind of games do you want to play? Mm. I think Joe was insecure, right? So he needed a young thing on his arm. Okay, so he said that Charlie asked him, TMZ asks, You proposed during her 31st birthday trip to Tanzania. What was that moment like? So if y'all remember, I told y'all and I showed y'all in a live that obviously they had already proposed. He had already proposed. She already knew what this trip was. She already knew what the trip was about and what they would be doing because when she had did a live where she was showing that hat that she bought, that Miu, I don't know how you say that word, Miu, that hat. And she was like, for a very special trip. And I said, she must have knew it was something else because she would have said birthday trip. But she said for a very special trip. So I felt like he had already did it and she already knew what it was. So he says, actually, this is only true in a superficial sense. See, I proposed to Ashlee Jenae on April 3rd. I proposed to Ashley Robinson before we left for Africa. And that's the point. We had a private life. But I don't think their life was so private. It wasn't private. Ashlee Jenae was the public persona. Ashley Robinson was the private person. On March 27th, 2026, Ashley and I attended an NBA game, the Dallas Mavericks versus the Portland Trailblazers. After the game, we went out to eat and then went to a bar owned by one of our friends where it was Drake night. On the way home, Ashley was being her typical self, blasting the Deftones at full volume in my car. But I turned the music down and asked her, "Do you want to try on the ring?" Ashley knew I had bought a ring, but didn't know when I was going to propose to her. Her initial response was no. But within seconds, with a giant grin on her face, she said, "Okay, yes, yes, I do." I'm kind of confused though. Like, if you were gonna propose, who asks somebody before they propose, "Do you wanna try on the ring? Do you wanna try on the ring?" Why didn't you just propose? So he says this is on March 27th, 2026. Who asks somebody, "Do you wanna try on the ring?" Like, you ain't even proposed to me. He says Ashley knew I had bought a ring, but didn't know when I was gonna propose to her. It's I don't know, that's weird. He says, when we got home, when I got home, I walked into our walk-in closet and she was in the master bathroom that is connected to the closet, only separated by a door, which I left partially open. She was taking off her makeup and just chatting away about our night. And then she opened the door and I was holding the ring. She immediately burst into tears and kept saying over and over, "It's perfect, it's perfect." I was able to catch a few of this candid moment between us because it was for us and only us, but you still haven't proposed. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Like, she hasn't said yes. You asked her, does she want to try on the ring? She says it's perfect, but nowhere in there did you say, I asked her to be my wife. So let me see if let me bring it up. Here's one of the pictures. Here's one of the photos. And this is her just looking down at the ring. I know. It doesn't, Tyrese. Hold on. Um, Here's one of the pictures of them, and then here's one of the pictures. Which this picture I was like, was she really happy? Um, is this supposed to be a picture of her crying happy? I guess so. But it's not given that she was very happy to me. Um, Joe get him on my nerves. Why are you talking so much now? Guess what I said? Joe speaking his racist truth after the gag order was lifted. I think you talking about um are you talking about Joe? I don't know if he was ever on a gag order, but I think you may be talking about Jeff. It don't look like Ashley was excited. What is he talking about? Thank you. So he says the next day, and this is where he gets into the chat GPT that Tyrese was talking about. He says the next day Ashley took to chat GPT as she did every day. It's okay, Shalene. I thought so. As she did every day with regard to almost all aspects of her life. Okay. To help her analyze the most optimal ways of posting the happy news for Ashlee Jenae's Instagram account. Guys, what happy news was she posting? That she tried the ring on? Did he call asking her, do you want to try on the ring, a proposal? Because I'm trying to figure out what she was gonna post um as happy news. I think if she would have been posting, I said yes. Um, I mean, that's a simple post. You don't even need that for you don't even need chat GPT. I said yes, or oh my God, he let me try on the ring last night. He never proposed. Anyhow, he goes on to say, in addition to her personal use, Ashlee extensively used ChatGPT for every single post, every reel and story she posted on Instagram, with conversations going on for hours sometimes. So he's saying she was everything she did, every post, every reel, every story. Y'all, so if y'all want to be an influencer, ChatGPT y'all way through. She posted on Instagram with the she po every let me go back. Um she used ChatGPT for every single post, reel, and story she posted on Instagram, with conversation going on for hours. Out of the respect for Ashlee, the specific content of her ChatGPT question and answer sessions will remain confidential. No, you talking now, drop it. Ashlee never took the ring off from that moment on. And so this goes to show, break it up, March 28th, and this is them, and it says it was at 2:03 a.m. And this one I can actually, no, I can't bring it closer. So this is just them sitting on the bed, her looking down at the ring, and she's crying. He says, until it was time for Ashlee Jenae to receive a proposal. And then this is them in Tanzania. I think we all seen this one. And she has the ring on. And he shows that's April 2nd at 7:39 a.m. I just don't know what took him so long to speak. Like, this is, I mean, if you're so innocent, this is not a hard share. This is not hard to speak on. Hey, Brandy, baby. Brandy, you had fun last night? He says, I'm an intensely private person, but I know how much Ashlee wanted to have that moment on social media, and I wanted her to have that moment. I was always supportive of her influencer career, through which she made a living, but also spread her unique brand. Ashlee declined countless lucrative promos and ambassadorships, but had recently started to reach out to local businesses she wanted to support that shared her values. Ashley informed me on social media. Ashley informed me that on social media, the proposal is a huge deal for women. And of course, Ashley was masterful at tuning, yeah, it should be turning. No, masterful at tuning the algorithm to make posts go viral. She had the idea of the proposal happening with the lion, but with the lion laying down in front of us. I changed the plan at the last minute, which is why she was genuinely surprised in the video. I messaged our host at Several Wildlife to confirm. And so this is his message. Now, why he changed how she wanted it. Okay, so like I said, it's some things in here that doesn't make sense. One of them is, if you knew that she wanted to have this proposal with the lion laying down, yada, 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 why would you say you changed it last minute, which was why she was genuinely surprised in the video? But right here, he says she had the idea of the proposal happening with the lion, but the lion laying down in front of us. That's what it's given. I'm glad you had a good time, girl. That's what it's given. That is exactly what it's given. But he says he changed the plan she had at last minute. Why? Which is why she was genuinely surprised. Well, I'm just thinking if that was me. If this was the vision I had for my proposal, um, and you changed it at the last minute, then I would be like, well, I'm gonna tell y'all, me, I probably would be like, this is not, Can we have the lion laying down? This is not what I asked for. The people probably be looking at me crazy because this man done text them and told them, oh, we're going to do it this way instead of that way. So it is given he was a control freak. Good morning, you changed me. Happy Sunday to you. Just coming through to show some love. We'll be watching the replay. Thank you so much. So boom, he says that this is what he texts the front desk. He actually, you guys, he cut some off because this is not the beginning of the text, because it starts with yet period. But anyway, he says, my plan was to do it during the walk with the lion. We would walk together for a bit. I would stop, get down on one knee, and propose to her. Is this something we can do? Excuse me. They respond with before. This is okay. I'm reading it right, y'all, but this is how they wrote it. Before 4 to Masai village, we will pass at Masai Bama. There you will have to dress like Masai and then kneel down so we can sing for you. We will like secret. He says, thank you, but I want to do it with the lion if possible. He said, they say it's possible when the lion is laying down because if she's walking, doesn't stop. So even the way that she wanted it is done, they're letting him know that's the best possible way to do it. But of course, as Tyrese said, Joe, the control freak, wanted it his way. Although he says he was private and he knew that this would most likely be shared on her social media for content. So he goes on to say, and this is how Ashlee Jenae, not Ashley Robertson, receives her proposal from me. Once again, Ashlee went to use ChatGPT to hyper optimize her post about the proposal. The post went crazy viral as she expected. All right, y'all. Let me sip my water. Yes, please feel free to use your button as well as the like button. Yes, you can use your gift button as well as please make sure you are tapping that like button, please and thank you. All right, so the next question they asked him, the trip took a horrible turn when Ashlee took her own life. What happened in those final days together? Joe says, to understand what happened in those final days, it's important to understand what happened a few weeks prior to us leaving for Tanzania. Because Ashlee's behavior at the Zuri Zanzibar resort was entirely consistent with her behavior a few weeks prior in Bend, Oregon, while we were on a snowboarding trip. Ashlee and I planned on having a family together. Ashlee desperately wanted a baby girl. She had her name picked out and everything. She used ChatGPT on several Chat GPT. I always get that mixed up on several occasions over many months about what our baby would look like based on our pictures. The chances for my blue eye color versus her eye color, the best time of the year to get pregnant, and so on. She told me she wanted a daughter specifically so she could love and care for her the way she always wanted to be loved and cared for as a child. So I need her parents. I wonder, I'm not going to say I need them to. I wonder if they're going to do any response to this, even from their own pages, because I want to know why do he keep claiming, because it sounds like he's trying to uh he's putting emphasis on her childhood, her traumatic childhood. I want them to speak on that some, because I don't want them to let him carry this narrative if it's not what it is. Um Now he said she wanted the baby basically to have what she chat GPT the chances of the baby having his blue eyes versus her eye color. The best time of the year to get pregnant. Oh, so she wanted a baby, and she wanted a baby girl, allegedly. However, he says in January of 2026, Ashley learned from her doctor that there was a possibility she would not be able to carry a child. Okay. January of 2026. Okay. He says she was devastated. Um, so here's the thing. All right. Thank you so much, Shalene, for your 4.99 super chat. I appreciate you. And thank you for your support. Joe is throwing a subliminal at the parents. They're not gonna respond. Couldn't be me. I don't think they will. They should. Because here's the thing: a girl, a woman that finds out that they cannot possibly have kids, um, they're gonna express that most likely with their mother. Okay? Most likely with their mother if they have that kind of relationship, which I would say that they did because that's who she contacted when she was in Tanzania, right? So they should be able to m- most likely speak on this if that happened, if the doctor told her that. Um, or whatever. But he says she was devastated. That night she broke down crying. I consoled her, held her, and told her everything was going to be okay and that we're still going to have a baby. Yes. If that's true, then I know that pain. I know that pain can cause a whole lot of mental anxiety as well. Okay. When arrived, he says when we arrived in Bend, this is when they were in Oregon, on March 12th of 2026 for our snowboarding trip, her behavior dramatically changed. Ashley was completely unrecognizable in her actions and words. A different person, he says. She was visibly upset. She was screaming and yelling about things that would typically not merit even a short discussion and threatening to end our relationship. He says, while I was in Zanzibar after Ashley passed, he did a big old jump. But when I was in Zanzibar after Ashley passed, I learned from authorities in Zanzibar that Ashley had engaged in a lengthy question and answer session with ChatGPT, okay, about taking significant amounts of Valium. So he says that the authorities in Zanzibar told him that Ashley had a ChatGPT session about taking Valium, as well as how much Valium it would take to for her to unalive herself. So he goes on to say in his press conference on June 4th, he knows these dates, don't he? He knows these dates. In his press conference on June 4th, 2026, then he speaks about I can't say his name, Zuberi Chambria, Deputy Director of Investigations for the Zanzibar Police Force, confirmed the existence of this Chat GPT session. Girl, when I was reading this last night, so you took the words out of my mouth. Let me tell y'all something. Allegedly, this is all alleged. This is all my opinion. This is all what I believe. I believe that he was using her phone and he was having that Chat GPT session. Because here's the thing, if this is true, okay, if this is true and she was having that conversation about taking Valium, then please make me understand why she chose another route. Why she would choose another route. If she had Valium, baby, and she was asking how much to take, then why didn't she go that route? Why did she go the other route? So it's not making sense because you would think that she would be having um a conversation about how to do it by hanging instead of how to do it by taking Valium. Okay. Another thing, let me tell you something. I don't want to put that in my search chat in Chat GPT. I don't. But they're not even going. How was she having a lengthy question and answer session when you ask them questions like that, they're not going to engage in that question. You see what I'm saying? They're going to cut that conversation short. They're going to tell you this goes against um, their protocol and their policies. Do you see what I'm saying? They're going to go against that. They're not going to tell you how to unalive yourself. So that stuck out to me. So here's some of the photos from the June 4th of 2026. I guess we would say the press conference that they did. Let me read this. The parent, oh, hold on one more second. No, okay, I read that one. The parents didn't do enough to me as parents because how you're going to allow him now profiting from her death, Joe lying his ass off. He had to get his story together. He did. He did. He did, and he's talking now, which is really crazy. And then he's coming out saying that she had lengthy conversations with ChatGPT about taking Valium, and that just doesn't sound right to me because when it's some things that I put in ChatGPT that is not even to me bad, and they'll come right back and say this goes against our policies, our terms and conditions, whatever they little thing is, where they say, I have one right now in my phone because what I put in earlier. Let me see. It says something like we're so sorry, but this may violate our guardrails around harassment, discrimination, bullying, or similar prohibited content. It gives you something like that, and it says if you think we got it wrong, please retry. So it's not making sense. Hey, twin mommy, happy Sunday to you. Hey, Ranithia. Yep. Um, Special K. I thought they was autistic because I would have blew some shit up. It was given not the dad. It wasn't given that the dad was autistic, but I'm gonna tell you what. You talking now, I'll be talking right behind you because don't start no fun in her name. You should have talked to me and us, but now he's gonna say he did. So he's gonna say he was in contact. He tried to contact, okay? He's gonna say that. He access to everything on that phone. He's setting her up to look like a nutcase to get suspicion off of him. Because let me tell y'all something. Do you know that makes sense? With ChatGPT, I have it on my computer and I have it on my phone and I have it on my iPad, right? It's all hooked to one account though. So that's why I feel like he was the one asking ChatGPT these questions, but just from another device. Her ChatGPT could have even been on his phone. We don't know. That's allegedly, okay? But you can use the same account from different devices because I have it on this computer, on my phone, and on my iPad. So, and so, yeah, you said he had access to everything on that phone. He's setting her up to look like a nutcase to get suspicion off of him. Well, here's the thing. He doesn't, he, why is he speaking? The suspicion, we all in the family have suspicions of him, but they've already cleared him. So, I mean, he could have just stayed shut up. He could have stayed quiet. But let Joe tell it. She had a lengthy conversation with ChatGPT about how to take self out. This dude is sick. Somebody needs to kick him in his balls. You see, that's what I'm saying. Like that, it doesn't make sense. Happy Sunday. Making her out to be a whole nutcase. He is. He's trying to. I mean, did she suffer from some mental health? I'm not sure. You know what I'm saying? I spoke on that before. Thank you so much, Ranithia. Happy Sunday to you too, baby. Thank you for your support. Um, I spoke on this before. Like, I didn't want to just rule out that she had some mental health issues. I feel like, you know, um, that could be possible. But I feel like he's gonna play with that. He's gonna use that. Uh-huh. He is tech savvy. Remember, we seen where he hacked into the TV to get the game on the TV when they were in another country. Yeah. Hmm. I didn't forget. So let's look at this. So these are some of the photos that they uploaded in the interview. Um, Let me see. I want to do. Okay. So anyway, starts here because it's some more of those. But this one says she had asked a question suggesting, unaliving herself through an artificial intelligence program known as ChatGPT. How much volume would KILL mean? Meaning, how many tablets she would need to take in her life. Okay. And so let me see. So that's the one. So then he goes and says, so that's the man that we saw where his press conference was translated. Then he goes to say on March 13th, our first day of snowboarding, she hit her head on a rock. Lord, come on now. He said she hit her head on a rock and sustained a concussion. How did he know? Did they go? Mm. So they went to the hospital in Bend, Oregon, and they said she had a concussion. He says even though she was wearing a helmet, that's weird. On March 13th, our first day of snowboarding, she hit her head on a rock and sustained a concussion, even though she was wearing a helmet. However, she refused to go to the doctor. For days after, Ashlee complained that she was dizzy and was forgetting things. She said forgetting things she said only moments prior. Nonetheless, She insisted on riding multiple days on the mountain after this occurred. Now, I guess this was a self-diagnosed concussion. Um, I don't understand, you know, he's gonna make it a point. I'm going before because I read this already, so I'm gonna talk about a part y'all haven't seen yet. So right here, he's gonna make another point later on, and he's gonna show where she was freaking out because she lost his credit card that he gave her to use. And then she tells her mom, like, what am I freaking out for? Like, he's not abusive or he doesn't lash out or something. He made his point to put that in there. I think that's because if you say y'all were snowboarding on your first day, she hit her head on a rock, even though she was wearing a helmet. Did you hit did you hit her in the head? So this is what she says. This is the text thread. Pull it up. Hey brown sugar. Ashlee Jenae. We're talking about Ashlee Jenae, and this is Joe McCann's interview that he did with TMZ. You said her special parents is just going along to get along because he has set up a whole foundation to make money or launder money through it. All these stories are inconsistent. You said the dude is sick. He said he was very intelligent. He said she was very intelligent, very smart, always had ideas, but in the same conversation said she's crazy, bipolar, and don't have a mind of her own. She got to use ChatGPT. Nope, you're crazy. Um, I just got home. Welcome in. I hope church was good. Um, So this is Ashlee Jenae. So she says, who's Blue? Okay. He says, "Hi, are you okay?" She says, "I had to get a bite." This doesn't show any dates. Just to be honest with you guys, this doesn't show any dates right here. But anyway, she says, "I had to get a bite to eat. I was very dizzy. Sorry I didn't update you fast." I don't even like that. Sorry I didn't update you fast. She says, "I'm feeling better, but I needed water and a seat. Heading out in 4." He says 4 minutes or at 4 p.m. She says 4 minutes. I had to check out. He says, "Check out, question mark, from where?" I said I needed to eat. So the way this conversation is going, y'all, listen to this conversation. It's never saying anything about her hitting her head, or being dizzy from her hitting her head, but it sounds like she's aggravated. She's irritated. She's frustrated. He says, "Hi, are you okay?" I'm going to read it how she sounds. He says, "Hi, are you okay?" She says, "I had to get a bite to eat. I was very dizzy. Sorry I didn't update you fast. I'm feeling better, but I needed water and a seat. Headed out in 4. 4 minutes or at 4 p.m. 4 minutes. I had to check out. Very short. Very short. Check out where? Check out, question mark, from where?" It was so many questions. He had nothing but questions. No genuine concern. Check out from where? She says, "I said I needed to eat." Oh, right. She says, "I'm in the car now." He says, "Please be careful. And if you get dizzy, just pull over and I'll come and meet you." But she was short. It's like he was irritating her. And he was just so many questions. And then it's like, "Sorry, I didn't update you fast. I said I needed to eat." It's like, stop asking me so many questions. You my man, not my daddy. So he says, "After I pleaded with her for days, she went to the doctor. When we got back to Portland, the doctor confirmed her concussion and prescribed her medication." That's what it was given. So, huh, I got to come back to this picture. Um, okay, he says, "After I pleaded with her for days, she went to the doctor. When we got back to Portland, the doctor confirmed her concussion and prescribed her medication." And this is the next um thread that's in there. She's he says, so before this is that this one says that's not, yeah, no problem. And then he says, "It's not safe out here for you. Please get in the car so I can take you home and I'll leave you alone." I told y'all she was annoyed. She had been annoyed days prior to this. Something was going on. And that's why I feel like she didn't really hit her head on a rock with the helmet on. That's not what it was. That's not what it was. Um, So he says, "It's not safe out here for you. Please get in the car so I can take you home and I'll leave you alone so you can have some time to yourself without me around." He says, "You are 6.6 miles away from home. It's going to be dark in an hour. If you walk, it will take you 2.5 hours. You are not safe out here alone. I'm begging you." She said, "You said your piece." What are y'all getting out of that message? Hmm. So he says, "While in Ben, I was on the receiving end of multiple public outbursts by Ashlee, a behavior that I had not previously seen from her." Okay. "My responses to each outburst was to physically distance myself to ensure that I was removed from the situation." Now, when you're in a relationship, I don't know if the comments are coming through or not. Okay. Or nobody's commenting. So when you're in a serious relationship and your partner is spazzing or um going through some things that you feel like you've never seen before, and you knowing that she allegedly got this news from the doctor that she was not going to be able to have any kids, then you most likely would be comforting her. You would not be distancing yourself. You would not be removing yourself. It's given she had broken up with him. It's given something, and she said you said your piece. So you can tell they had a conversation about something, that some kind of issue, some kind of problem they were having. Good afternoon, Nene. He says, at one point, Ashlee tried opening the door of my car at a high speed on a rural highway on the way back from the mountain. I pulled over when it was safe to do so, as she was having a panic attack. Another behavior I had never seen before. She got out and then began walking back to the house on foot. That's the text message that I just read. I pleaded with her to get back in as it wasn't safe for her. She walked a mile and then got in an Uber. Ashley was pissed. Good morning, Nola. Good morning. So he says, when I knew she was home safe, I arrived back at the house and saw that Ashley was standing barefoot in the driveway. She began to take all of the snowboarding equipment out of the car and threw it all over the front yard and driveways. Then she threw a snowboarding helmet towards me at point blank range, striking me directly in the face. I did not retaliate. He made sure he said that. Good afternoon, Tennessee. Good afternoon, baby. He says, I picked up all the equipment and placed it back in my car and asked her to come inside. So he was just this cool, calm, collective guy. Now she was pissed because she ain't hit her head on no goddamn rock. Allegedly. She ain't hit her head on no rock. If that, mm, y'all picking up what I'm putting down. So, he's making sure he says things like, I didn't retaliate. Oh, look at me. I just picked up the equipment and I placed it back in the car and asked her, just Ashlee, please just come inside. He says from there, she went outside and began to walk. Okay, so this is the equipment that he says that he alleges she threw outside. I'll be all the way honest with y'all. This doesn't even look like a real photo, but okay. And so this is her because he just made claims. Okay, no, I'm gonna read this one first. He says, from there, she went outside and began to walk into traffic while threatening to unalive herself by being run over. I pleaded with her to get out of the road and got her to come back inside. After which I left the house to create physical distance between us so the situation could stabilize. She called and texted her mother, Yolanda. Okay, here's my problem. Seriously now. I think she said happy Sunday. No, she said happy Sunday. Wake up, girl. She said happy Sunday. Does YouTube say it's my birthday? But thank you so much. um, okay. So from right here, um, he's never once said what he said. He created physical distance between them so the situation could stabilize. What was the situation? What was the argument? What was the issue? What was the problem? What was the problem? He's never once told us what the problem was. And that's why I believe he hit her in the head. I believe they were already fighting. They were already fighting. I believe that he laid hands on her. I'm sorry, because you have yet in all of this told us what the argument, what the issue and the problem was, what was the situation that you were trying to stabilize by removing yourself. I wish I was the person that was interviewing him, because you wouldn't have been able to keep telling me this story without telling me what the problem was that you guys were having. Thank you so much. Much love right back to you, Tennessee. I appreciate your support always. No, sweetie, it doesn't say it. Oh, he did get that's I was telling her you said happy Sunday. Nola, she ain't woke yet. Yep, Nola, that's what I think. I do think so. I think that when he said she hit her head, got a concussion with the helmet on, that's not the truth. Okay. Now he goes on to say she called and texted her mother, Yolanda. Now, Yolanda, if this is true, please come and confirm this or tell that it's not the truth, because that means before March and April, oh, this was March. So before April, you already knew there was issues. That would mean that mom already knew that there was issues. But when they were asked in that interview about any mental health issues, have she been, suffering from any mental health issues or any of that, they said no. But if she would have called and texted her mother, then her mom would have known that. She would have also known that, not to say in the TMZ interview that the family did, that she was so happy this was supposed to be the best day of her life, because you would know what was going on. You would know that she really, something was off. And you would have talked about this and said, hey, Ashlee called me back then and said, yada, yada, yada. That's not what we got from the mother. He's not going to tell what the problem was because he was cheating, and it's sad. I mean, you might as well. What can you hurt? Ashlee found out I was cheating, you know. So I was just removing myself until, what's so hard about that? What I think he's not gonna say is I put my hands on her. That's what he's not gonna tell. After the fact, if you was caught cheating, I mean, why hide it after the fact? He's lying. I wouldn't believe anything he says. She's not here to respond. So what he says is just, mm-hmm. I agree. I agree. But when he puts the parents in here and says she called and texted her mother, they should be able to speak on that. Okay. So this is Ashlee. So sad, unfortunately, in the middle of the road where he says, if this is real, because he could be the one that uses the artificial intelligence for real. Hmm. But he says this is outside where she got in the middle of the street having a panic attack, saying that she was going to unalive herself by being hit by a car. Okay. He says Ashlee also texted me to tell me our relationship was over and she was moving back to the East Coast. See, what was so serious that the relationship was over? You're not giving us any real context to go by. You're not telling why you guys were having this big old argument. Now she thought you had special powers. It's definitely giving temperamental Joe. You got a membership? Thank you so much, Tennessee, for the gifted membership. Nola Bunny got it. She got it. I don't know what's wrong with the mother. She's a lady of no words. Very few. Very, very few. Yeah. Very, very few. Why is he recording her in the middle of the damn highway? Mind you, he says, so this is the photo, y'all. That's why I said, AI. AI. It's a terrible thing sometimes. But he says she went outside and began to walk in traffic while threatening to unalive herself by being ran over. I pleaded with her to get out the road and got her to come back inside. So while you were pleading, this is the photo. Is there a video? Is there a video? Can we hear you say, Ashlee, please get out the road and come inside? Because anybody can take a picture and place that photo there. That's all I say. Tyrese, we're both scratching our heads inside eyeing the mama. I was doing that since day one, okay? Sorry, I'm late responding. Nene says, hey, Tyrese. Okay, so this is what he says. Ashlee also texted me to tell me our relationship was over and she was moving back to the East Coast. Now, I don't remember her saying she was moving back to the East Coast in this message, but she says, you gave up on us this past week. I felt something was amiss, and then you finally told me that your sadness. Okay, so he's blue. He's blue. He's blue. I'm sorry. You gave up on us this past week. I felt something was amiss, and then you finally told me that your sadness was associated with your feelings about not being able to have children. Then it all made sense. I gave you grace, and then you came right back at me. I asked you to calm down. You refused. Previously, you threw a snowboard helmet at my face, and your behavior was concerning me. So I decided to leave the situation. I'm devastated for us. She says, you refuse to talk to me. So right here, he says, Ashlee also texted me to tell me our relationship was over and she was moving back to the East Coast. But that's not what this says. Is there another one? Let me see. No, nope. That's not what that says. So I don't know where that text thread is, but that's not what I just read. She told him, you refuse to talk to me. If this is the real text thread. Y'all listen. Y'all listen. I don't know. So he goes on to say, however, I got on the phone with her and she asked me to come back to the house, so I did. When I entered the house, she began to cry and admitted to me that she was terrified. She was going to not be able to have a baby with me and that I would leave her. I held her and told her it was going to be fine, that I would never leave her, that I bought a ring so we could get married and that I was committed to her. The next day, it was like a switch flipped in her. She was completely back normal. She had me pull over to the side of the road and joyously run through a green field. Okay. So back to what you said, Special K. Back to what you said. He is really doing a job of painting her as a freaking nutcase. Okay. Oh, pull over on the side of the road. I just want to run through the field. I don't believe these pictures. Not one bit. I don't believe the photos. Mm-mm. So he just told her that I am here for you. I held her. It's going to be fine. I bought a ring so we can get married and I'm committed to you, but whether if she can have kids or not. And that just the switch flipped and she just became happy again. And this is what she wanted to do. She wanted to pull the car over and run in a green field. He sat back all this time and gathered all this AI bullshit. Why didn't he have the decency to pay for his loving wife's funeral? Gonna get there too. Feel free to join the loungers for the best conversations and drinks. Period. Is this what Joe said or did an interview? He did. He did an interview with TMZ. He could never make me believe she went to another country to unalive herself. It doesn't make sense. It's not making no sense at all. At all. Hey Joanne, where you been? Where you been, good? So he goes on to say in Zanzibar, Ashlee erratic behavior returned on April 6th, right when we arrived at the Zuri Zanzibar resort. one day after her birthday. The first of the several public outbursts happened at lunch on April 6th with a server present. In the 2 days that followed, we engaged in a series of heated discussions in our villa as well as in public areas, instigated by these outbursts. Ashlee's behavior had grown even more bizarre than the behaviors I observed in Oregon. She was chain smoking cigarettes. Ashlee didn't smoke. All right. She was chain smoking cigarettes. Ashlee didn't smoke. What was the reason she couldn't have children? Come on, Joe, give us a break. He didn't say. He didn't give no context on that. Maybe he feels like that's too personal. But he didn't give us that. Just like he didn't give us the reason that they were arguing and the reason that he would remove himself until things settled. Is this the transcript that Joe did with TMZ? We are looking at idiots. Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm. Not look here, JoJo. Joe trying to go viral fucking with that girl and her death. Okay. Oh wow, y'all. So why didn't he show why she's mad? I'm telling you, like, he's not saying any, I could have gave him a little benefit of the doubt, but I was already looking at them photos last night and I was like, this AI is fuck. But I could have really gave him the benefit of the doubt if he would have put in why they were constantly having these arguments instead of just saying, you said she hit her head, you used that, you said she couldn't have kids, but he's not telling us what the real arguments are about. Let's see. And the parents allow him time too many times with all these to run with these crazy narratives. Yes. So this has just happened. I'll tell you guys in a second, but this just happened. He just did this interview. So I don't know if there's been any responses from like at least the dad, 'cause we know the mom, she don't say much, but we'll find out. Miss Hill, welcome in. Good morning, afternoon, wherever you are, sweetheart. All these far back. Yep. That's what I said, Nola. Far back. And then you see the other one, her back was turned. He knows what that shit is not real. That shit is not real. He's not telling what they're arguing about because it would give him motive. Yep. But what could they do now? Special K, like, what could they do now? He's already been cleared. It's already been closed as a self delete. Look at Christina. Christina, talk about it. She said, I just been sitting in the bushes listening. This MFA is sitting up there playing in the parent's face. He took that girl's phone once they made it to the second resort. He sent that message to her mom. Man, listen, he playing. He is. Terry, welcome in. Welcome in. Same to you, beautiful Miss Special K. Miss Hill says, here you go, Miss Hill. Thank you so much for your support always. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much, Terry, for always dropping this copyright disclaimer. It is going across the screen as well, but I always appreciate it. Christina, he playing on our top. Why? So he says her behavior grew even more bizarre than the behaviors he observed in Oregon. She was chain smoking, he says, and Ashlee didn't smoke. She woke up and drank a bottle of white wine immediately. I've never seen her drink in the morning except maybe a glass of wine or a mimosa at brunch. This was not Ashlee at all. This was someone else. Okay, here's a text thread. He says, Blue. He's the Blue. He says, I have not and would never yell or scream at you in public. See, that's why I think all this is set up. And you know what? And let me tell you something, Brandy, a chain smoke, a non-smoker cannot chain smoke. I don't believe that a non-smoker who's never smokes and doesn't smoke can chain smoke. I don't know. I don't think so. Throat hurt, coughing, all of that. He says to her, allegedly, if this is her, I have never, I have not and would never yell or scream at you in public. You put your hands on me yesterday. You threw a snowboarding helmet at my head at point blank range. You screamed multiple, oh my God, you screamed in public multiple times in Ben and now in Zanzibar. You really don't see the issue here, do you? Yes or no? Y'all, let me tell you something. Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Why does it sound like this is flipped? Because y'all hear I keep saying allegedly I feel like he hit her in the head, which is why she had the concussion, right? Doesn't it sound like the blue, because the blue is him, but doesn't it sound like the blue is really her? I have not and would never yell or scream at you in public. You put your hands on me yesterday. You threw a snowboarding helmet at my head at point blank range. You screamed at me in multiple times in Ben and now in Zanzibar. You really don't see the issue here, do you? Because he's claiming for her to be the one that's giving up on the relationship, and she's like, you spoke your piece. Uh, so the black is her, supposedly. She goes on to say, this is not a conversation I will continue to have over text. When and if you are ready to speak either on the phone or in person, that is fine. You're not hearing my point of view. I keep hearing yours and acknowledging them. But he hasn't told us his point of view, y'all. He's only he's not given the point of view. Only Ashlee has given the things that she's going through allegedly. She can't have a child. Her family childhood trauma. So he would be hearing her. This sounds backwards. I'm telling y'all, this sounds backwards. And then he goes on and he says, I asked you a yes or no question. This text thread right here is weird to me. It's weird. No, he explaining his actions towards her. That's what it sounds like. He knows she's not here to defend a damn thing. He's saying he's he's saying he is sick as fuck, and, and he took her life because he wanted to cheat in peace and wanted her to be okay with that. You'll be sick as a dog. That's what I said. Yeah, you would. Chest hurt, throat hurt, coughing. Wait, so they can't charge him even if the family is suspicious of him? That's why as a family I would have questioned him from the start. They were too calm for me. I think it's over, Nola. I think it's a wrap. It's a wrap. And that's one reason I didn't continue to like keep on because like I just can't keep going if it's not something that's coming out of their mouths at this point. The parents, him, we know Ashlee can't speak. Um, but yeah, I think it's case closed. Hell, we gotta learn how to stop choking and coughing, eyes watering first. Nola, ain't no statute of limitation on murder. So, okay, so here's the thing though. But what happens though, Tyrese, because he's cleared over there where it happened at. The case is closed over there. So it may not be like that over here, but over there, that was the point of it all, to do it over there. Yeah, he did. Allegedly, he did. So let me get out of here. He says, throughout our time in Zanzibar, Ashlee demanded that I take the engagement ring back from her and insisted that I call the engagement off. I declined every time and told her that I wanted her to be my wife. She took the ring off and placed it in a safe in the villa. Okay. None of that sounds right. And I'm kind of disappointed in the person that was doing the interview. If you knew that Ashlee was going to be the one, um, if Ashlee was going to be the one putting this on her social media and it went viral, why would you have to call it off? I mean, that isn't that something that she would do on her platform? Or why do anybody have to call it off? It's just it is what it is. If it's over, it's over. Um, and I don't understand why she would demand you to take the ring back when she could have just took it off in the first place and did what you say she did with it. What you say she took it off and placed it in the safe. I believe you placed it in the safe. I still believe he placed that ring in the safe if that's where it was. Joe put them hands on her and put her upside that door. Yes, you are right because I smoke. Not a chain smoker. So sad he is guilty. That was a stupid comment. It was dumb. It was. Oh, I thought that's why Cree was saying, okay. Well, I'm saying, wait, let me see what Tyrese say. I don't think the comments is taking a long time to come in. I smoke and I don't chain smoke. Right. So a non-smoker, yeah, no, they can't do it. Joe playing someone's top, but not ours. But not ours. I know that's right. This interviewer, because I don't know why he ain't dig deeper. So he says, when we arrived, he said eventually. So let me just go back. So remember, he's saying she asked him to take the engagement ring, demanded him to take it, demanded him to call off the engagement. He says he declined, and I told her, no, I want you to be my wife. He took the ring. He said she took the ring off and placed it in the safe. All right. Eventually, he says he was able to calm her down enough so that they could at least go and enjoy the beach together. He says, and what proved to be a pleasant escape from reality, Ashlee wanted to shoot some content of her riding horses on the beach. So we got ready and headed down there. Y'all, that is a huge jump. She was just acting crazy. See, this is him painting the crazy story. This is the crazy story. You say she was just irate, going crazy, demanding you call it off, take your ring back, but you was eventually able to get her to calm down enough to go to the beach. And she wanted to shoot content of her riding horses. He says when we arrived, she forgot the ring and she wanted it in her photos. That does not make sense. The ring was in the safe. She told you to take it back. You say she put it in there. So she told you to call the engagement off, but then you turn around and say, we arrived. She forgot the ring and wanted it in her photos. Why? She just told you to call it off. Somebody help me out. He says she went back to the villa, but forgot the code to the safe. Nigga, you put that ring in that safe. She didn't know the code. You did. She never knew the code. That's why you put it in there, because she didn't know the code. Um, he said she went back to the villa but forgot the code to the safe. She came back frustrated, but I told her I'll go get it and not to worry. When I arrived in the room, I sent her a picture of the safe showing the time delay remaining so she'd have a sense of when I return and to calm her. I don't see why he doing an interview with TMZ. Go write a book, Joe. Fuck out of here. Joe also know her mother slow. That's why he continued to do this shit. He knows something, but I know one thing. She never knew the code to this safe because she never put the ring in there. You took the ring. You took the ring. You put it in a safe. You only knew the code. She never knew it. Um, we black women take longer than that to calm down. Play with your mammy, not us. Oh, what you say, Christina? That's a fact. I might take a day or two or three. Wait, the mama slow? I don't know. See, Joe, you're trying to cover it so hard, you're not making sense. You should have just kept your mouth closed. It's not making sense. It's not. It's not making sense. So here's the message. He said you need to sign a paper at the front desk just to come. He said you need to sign a paper at the front desk. Just come back when you're ready because you entered the wrong code 5 times. The safe locks for 10 minutes. There's still some time left. I have to wait. So this is him showing her that he had 7 minutes left, allegedly. But he's told her because you entered the code wrong 5 times. She never knew the code. That's why you did it. You put the ring there. You knew the code. Okay? Here we go. The following is one of the photos of me and Ashlee together. She requested that a bystander take some pictures of us in true Ashlee fashion. She was directing the production while displaying the ring. Okay? Here's another picture that's kind of far back as well. Mind you, he said she wanted to take pictures on the horses in the water. I don't see that. I see him and her, which is easy to put in AI. It's easy. And then I'm gonna see something, y'all. Dang, I want to blow this picture up. I really do. Mm. But we don't see any horses. We just see them. So it says one of the last photos of Joe and Ashlee together on the beach in Zanzibar while Ashlee is displaying the ring. So he says shortly after, Ashlee and I were chilling out on the lounge chairs in the sand. When it was time to go, I got up to walk to the bar and pay our bill. Okay. At this moment, Ashlee began another outburst that drew attention of nearby security personnel. I told her I was simply going to pay the bill and pleaded with her to remain calm. She decided she would go back to the villa, and I told her I would stay behind to watch the sunset. When Ashlee left, I decided to contact the Zuri Zanzibar guest services via WhatsApp to inquire about a separate villa. Y'all hear that? Let me reread this for real. He said, shortly thereafter, Ashlee and I, this is directly after this photo where he says he calmed her down. And they went to go take pictures. She wanted to take pictures in the water with the horses. I don't see no horses. I see Joe and I see Ashlee. He says he calmed her down, right? Shortly thereafter, Ashlee and I were chilling out on lounge chairs in the sand. When it was time to go, I got up to walk to the bar and pay our bill. Poor Fendi, they won't let her out the room. At this moment, Ashlee began another outburst. Come here, Fifin. Come here, mama. I told her I was simply going to pay the bill and pleaded for her to remain calm. She decided she would go back to the villa. I told her I would stay behind to watch the sunset. When Ashlee left, I decided to contact the Zuri Zanzibar guest services via WhatsApp to inquire about a separate villa. So you mean to tell me before the actual day of the incident and the people heard them arguing, he had already contacted the Zuri Zanzibar? for a separate villa. It's Let me read these comments. Joe full of shit is disgusting. You better say it, Nene. What happened? Y'all put no loud and had to go save her. I don't think she realized she did. Oh, y'all still talk about that. Wasn't there two people standing in the cut watching them at that point? What point? So when they was taking pictures with the zebras, in that background, you could see like there was two people, a couple of people standing there. But this strikes me as funny because he says he was going to stay behind to watch the sunset. When she left, he decided to contact the Zuri Zanzibar guest services. And he asked them about a separate room. Mind y'all, the people that was next door said they called. That's how they end up being in separate rooms. But before that even happened, he says he contacted them to inquire about a separate room, which is very, very, very suspicious to me. Thank you, Miss Hill, again. Thank you for showing love. You are appreciated. I don't, oh, y'all is still there. Brandy probably not, she probably doing something. I got that phone. Mm-hmm. He is, ain't he? He is. And yes, I feel like he did. And he knows it. So he feels free to talk. I mean, he could damn near say anything. He could damn near say anything. I bet he was plotting on her the entire time they was together. This kind of shows some of the plot because it's like, okay, she acting funny, she tripping. If that's how you felt, oh, let me just contact them. I'm finna get my own room. When you see, if what he was saying she was doing, even if that was true, if that's true, you see the mood of her being up and down. So why would you just voluntarily request a separate room? You don't know where her mental space may be. You're already saying that she's unstable. Why would you leave her? Doesn't make sense. They don't really like us. And once they unalive us, one of us, it's like a badge of honor. That's what it's given. It's always been given that though. And the fact that Joe is starting a foundation and Ashlee Honor is a slap in the face to me. I'm sorry. You start a foundation, but couldn't pay for the funeral. Okay, Joe. And he was never, we finna get there. We'll get there. So, this is Zanzibar guest services. He asked them, I guess this is when they first got there. This is the day that he asked them, hello, do you have any villas or rooms for rent tonight until Friday? This does not show the day. That's what I don't like. So you can tell us anything. And they say, hello, Mr. Joseph. Thank you for your message and interest in our villas. For tonight, we have only 3-bedroom oceanfront villas available until Friday. Another option is from tomorrow for the suite jacuzzi with ocean. 1-bedroom plus living room view available until Friday. How much is the 3-bedroom per night? The 3-bedroom per night is USD $5,600. Let me tell y'all something. He's lying. He's lying. This text right here is the initial text to the people. This is not a text message of him asking them. He's lying. Wait, I gotta stop for a second. No, for real. Listen to what he said. He says, when she left, I decided to contact Zuri Zanzibar guest services via WhatsApp to inquire about a separate villa. Okay, they were already there. He was trying to get a separate villa. Look at this message. This is not a message asking about a separate villa. You, the telltale sign is, hello, Mr. Joseph. Thank you for your message and interest in our villas. For tonight, this is the day that they left and checked in originally. He would have already knew the price. He would have knew roundabout price. He would have mentioned something like, "Hey, I'm already staying here. I'm trying to get an extra room." This is the original text with before him and when him and Ashley was going there. This says nothing, just like the other one I was up there reading and I was telling y'all this doesn't sound right. This doesn't either. All right. Cree, is there somehow we can find what you're showing? Yes, it is. I just want to go back over it again when I get time. It is. Um, it's on his website. I cannot tell you is the name of the website. I cannot tell you. That's the name. Hey, E too short. All these text messages is made up. Why is the rich nigga asking how much is anything? Thank you. Let me tell you something. Let me tell y'all what this text message shows. Okay, we will be there, Asante. Listen, you had already, you knew these people. Like, show us before. What did it say before in y'all threads? I would like to know. Okay, we will be there, Asante. They said thank you. We already have it booked for you already. Right? Right? Listen to this. Okay, we will be there, Asante. They said thank you, and we have it booked for you already. What he was doing right here was trying to see different rooms, not a separate room. This was the initial check-in that he's showing. I wonder did Queen Sheba go over this or open book? You see, he's saying a whole lot of nothing. No, he's saying a whole lot of something, a whole lot of lies. Hey, Raquel, welcome in, boo. He's telling a whole lot of lies. That's what he's doing. And he's over here now. So now he can come out and say it. They ain't gonna lock his ass up. He free from them. Queen Sheba went over it. Okay, cool. I'm going to watch it. Yes, Cree. Yes, he lying. The message don't match the timing. The hotel conversation was definitely from check-in already. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Mhm. He was lying. He's lying. He's and I man. He says, I then walked back to the villa after taking a shower. Yeah. Ashley initiated another heated discussion. It was at this moment that I finally told her, okay, give me the ring. Give me the ring back. The engagement is off. That's a lie. Mm-mm. You did that already. You had already did that. She reacted by yelling, smashing lamps and glassware in the room, and telling me, among other things, I hope I choke and die in here tonight. During this time, someone from the neighboring Villa 24 contacted the front desk, letting them know the couple in Villa 25 was having a disagreement. Within minutes, four security guards showed up to our Villa 25. Suddenly, Ashlee became entirely calm and explained to the security that there was no issue and that everything was fine. Even going on to say to them, as the woman in this situation, I will let you know if there was something wrong. Boy, boy, boy. He think he knows how to use his words. um, he says, at this point, head of security asked if we needed some time or separate villas, which doesn't make sense because you already said you inquired about a separate villa. Why didn't you get it if you felt that much? So he says, I volunteered to get a separate villa and explained to them that I was already in touch with guest services on WhatsApp. My bags already packed. How did your bags get packed so fast? How was your bag? So you didn't know that you would be leaving when y'all was sitting at that on the beach in those lounge chairs before she allegedly had this outburst, and you contacted guest services about another room. You didn't know prior that you were going to be leaving. So why were your bags already packed? He says, I left to head to the reception desk, handed off my key for Villa 25. He's making sure he's making sure that he tells everybody that says he still had that key that he didn't have that key. So he says, handed off my key for Villa 25 and received my key for Villa 65. Once safely apart from Ashlee, at the reception desk, Ashlee's mother, Yolanda, tried calling me and texted me that Ashlee wouldn't answer her phone calls and that Ashlee was texting horrible things. Okay, let me go up here. You say he's definitely lying. 2026, all liars jumping on platforms lying, telling on themselves. Okay. It says we have you booked already. So why be texting and asking all these questions about rooms after the price after the booking? Come on now. Yep. Well, I'm glad you see what I saw. I'm glad you see what I saw. Okay? Special K, I'm already subscribed over there. Okay. So here's the text thread supposedly between Ashlee's mom and Joe McCann. Ashlee's mom is in the black. Come on, mom. I need you to come confirm these messages. Did you take your things or is it still in her room? Is what the mom asked. But there's kind of like, what I want to know what was said before. He says, it's possible some of my stuff is there, but I have most of my things. Her mom says, what room is she in? He says, is she not responding to you? She's texting me. And he tells the Villa 25. Welcome in, Andrea. Welcome in. The mom says she is texting me things and won't answer the phone. She is texting, let me get this right. She is texting terrible things and won't answer the phone. Her mom says, is it possible to fly out tomorrow? Now, did the mom say that? Did the mom say that Ashlee was texting her terrible things? I don't recall. I don't recall. Mm-mm. I don't recall her saying that she was texting her terrible things because when she said she talked to her, she was excited. The first time she was excited for what would be the best day of her life. And then she said, and then when I want to say she talked to her again, she had said they had got into an argument. But she didn't tell the world, I don't think. I'm gonna go look at that interview again. She didn't tell the world that Ashlee was texting her terrible things. But she says here, if this is true, she says she is texting terrible things and won't answer the phone. And she asks him, is it possible to fly out tomorrow? Okay. So he's still at the front desk, he says. Okay, that's what I thought. I might need to go wake Ashley mother up because this is not making any sense. Joe got her name all in his new book. That's what it looked like. Ray Charles see Joe and Stevie Wonder see Joe lying and cover. Special K, I sit in the bushes over there a lot. I always know that Queen Sheba Live is gonna be long. So I put it on, I start cleaning and whatever I'm doing, I just let her play. So I don't really comment that much, but I hear it. You said, I thought Ashley mom said, you didn't finish. I thought Ashley mom said she talked to Ashley and she called her. I'm confused. Okay. I thought we all confused. We all confused. She never even said Ashley text her. She said Ashley called her. All right. Well, y'all just seen it for yourself. So all of this is happening. He's getting these messages while he's allegedly at the front desk. He says, I then headed down with Zuri staff to my new villa, number 65. I then started to receive incredibly disturbing texts from Ashley stating her clear intent to unalive herself. I tried calling multiple times, but she didn't pick up. I begged and pleaded with her, but to no avail. And this is the first one. It says, no need for flight info. Take care of your kids. I wish you the best in the rest of your life. He allegedly she texts this as well. Sorry, let me say this right. Sorry, I wasn't enough. I tried my best. Goodbye forever. Remember me as someone who cared. Her next one was, don't let anyone I didn't like carry my casket. No attempt this time. Goodbye, Joe. Now, no attempt this time. But you never mentioned during this whole time that she's discussed having these kind of um, thoughts before, and you said a whole lot of times you never seen this behavior. Um, so no attempt this time. Goodbye, Joe. Then she says, allegedly putting you out of your misery. He says, please call me. She says, please leave me be. He says, I keep calling you. She says, stop. And then this is him showing that he was begging, allegedly. I'm begging you, please, please answer my call. Please answer the phone. You're scaring me and your mom and everyone who loves you. Please, I'm begging you. He then shows his call log with all the outgoing calls that he says he made and were canceled. I agree with you. Like, it's some wild shit. Joe should be ashamed of himself putting this out. Listen. I never understood why now. You know what I'm saying? Like, why after the fact? When you had all of this, you know, you watched her family sit and say they thought that it was suspicious and they just don't see this happening. And Ashley didn't act like she had any mental issues. And you let all of that go on. And you had all of this. You let people blame you, accuse you, just drag your name through the mud, right? And you had all of this. Then, yeah, right. Yeah, right. Mm-mm. No, there's nothing. like clearing your name immediately, like putting out receipts immediately. When your name, your company, and all of this is being drugged through the mud. You set on this. Stop it. Mm-mm. That Ranithia says that man had already took her phone. Yeah, if it was her phone, you know, he know how to hack. He know how to do all that shit. IT. Um, or it's made up completely, and that's why a lot of people hate AI. He says, I also called her villa directly 3 times by pressing 1 plus the villa number 25. He's so detailed, ain't he? By pressing 1 plus the villa number 25. She never answered. Her last communication with me to me was simply the word stop. Um, TMZ says Charlie Neff, that's who's interviewing him. Who? Who gonna go live? Hold on 1 second, y'all. So, Nay, I've always got that confused. Now you're gonna make me ask. Matter of fact, let's see something. Okay. Oh, girl. Woo, baby, don't. Yep. Uh-huh. Yeah. Crazy. Baby, that man said, I bet you don't got one of these. Pulled out that dang on YouTube trophy, baby. I died. If you know, you know. I know you know, Tyrese Special K probably know too. Um, I bet you that crazy nigga gonna go live debunking what anyone says about Joe Book. Mm, ain't it? Cancel means you ended the call on your own, like as if it was a mistake. An iPhone, from what I know, it says outgoing when you let the call complete. He a liar. So let me see. I asked ChatGPT based on how phone system label calls outgoing call cancel usually means the caller ended the call before it was answered. You right? Cancel usually means the caller ended the call before it was answered. So it says in most cases, let me read it to you because I got that confused all the time. So let's see. Caller hang In most cases, caller hangs up before the other person answers shows as canceled. So it's almost like he was just calling, let it ring once, hanging up, canceling it. All right. It says receiver declines or rejects a call, often shows as declined or no answer, or depending on let's say iPhone. Let's say iPhone. All right, so we use an iPhone. It says on an iPhone, cancel in the call log generally means the person who placed the call ended it before it was answered. For example, you call someone, it rings briefly, you hang up before they answer, your call log is going to show outgoing call cancel. Simple as that. Mhm. Yeah, so that's what was happening to make it to set the scene. Really? To set the scene. And he is like for real. I didn't even know like it was to that extent, Tyrese. A cancel call on your iPhone means the call was initiated but terminated by the recipient. It is very different from outgoing call, which involves the recipient's phone actually ringing. So over here, it tells me, um, okay, so this tells me, looking at your screenshot, I just took a screenshot of it, right? It says looking at your screenshot, the calls are outgoing, marked cancel, occurring 1 to 3 minutes apart. That is most consistent with the caller repeatedly attempting to reach Ashlee and ending each call before it connected or was answered. And then it goes on. I'm reading so I can see. It goes on to say uh from that standpoint, I would describe it as the call log shows multiple outgoing call attempts that were not connected. I would not say the screenshot proves Ashlee rejected the calls because the screenshot itself does not show that. Okay, you canceled it. You hung up early, you ended the call manually. Changed your mind, accidentally pressed the call button before a connection was made. You yep, yep, and did. He sure did. It's not funny. I'm not laughing at that, but I don't know why he did this. I don't know why he did this. Miss Angel, what's up? What's up, girl? Um, so he's something else. He's something else. So the next question was, um, authorities said when you were at the Zanzibar hotel, there was some kind of disagreement and you two ended up in different rooms. Can you clarify what happened? So he just says, my answer to the previous question sets the record straight on what really happened. So, I mean, he did give that. So I don't even know why they asked that question. He basically did give that. Um, the next question was, at the time, there was a great deal of speculation about what had happened. Her parents told me that they felt Ashlee's death was suspicious and that she didn't have mental health problems. Told you. What do you think about those comments? Jeff says, I'm sorry, Jeff. Oh Lord. No, I've been looking at too much Carmelo Anthony. Joe says, wow, as a parent myself, I empathize with her parents in the deepest possible way. I find these comments utterly confusing. The devastating reality was that Ashlee, who was a truly wonderful but tortured soul, wow, did suffer from visible, evident, and significant mental health problems. Moreover, to anyone who insists on believing against our reality that Ashlee's death was suspicious, I would suggest that they watch Deputy Director, same deputy, Shambria, June 4th press conference in which he left zero doubt that Ashlee's death was tragically by unaliving herself. Yes, ma'am. All his said straight cancel. Look how close the calls are back to back. Yeah, I see it. Let's go back real quick. I looked last night. 29, 30, 31, 32. And then he took a little more time with these. Um, so this is just those photos from that press conference. And I don't think we saw this press conference, but he says the investigation confirmed without any doubt that the act by the deceased, which she carried out on the 8th of April 2026, of attempting to unalive herself at a Zurich hotel. What was led to or caused her death on April 9th, 2026 at around 3 p.m. at Ampola or Global Hospital located, therefore, Based on the evidence collected regarding that incident, there is no person who can be linked in any way whatsoever to the death of the deceased. The evidence confirms that the deceased died as a result of her self-delete attempt, which occurred on April 8th, 2026. That's that. Okay. So they asked him, the family, hey, Gossip and Giggles. Nay Graham, I believe he had the phone in hand while calling from his to throw people off. Yeah. Hmm. But he's fucked up though. Like, to me, he's still fucked up because you canceled the call. You should have let it ring and made it look like she just wasn't answering. They said the family insinuated you had something to do with her death. What do you have to say about that? He says any insinuation that I had anything to do with Ashley's death is false, defamatory, and malicious. They asked him, given the speculation that surrounded this case, I want to ask you directly. Did you ever threaten, abuse, or have any intention on harming Ashley? He says, I would never harm any woman in any way, and that includes Ashley. Absolutely not, never. And in fact, her family knew this, as demonstrated by text message between Ashley and her mom in 2025 when Ashley accidentally lost my credit card. Here's the thing. Why in the fuck do you know and why do you have a message between Ashley and her mom at all in 2025? Why do you have messages of Ashley and her mom's text thread at all? How? Because the question was, given the speculation that surrounded this case, I want to ask, did you ever threaten, abuse, or have any intention of harming her? Do you guys see that he has an answer right now for everything? And not just an answer, he has a receipt that he's trying to use. And I want to know, he said, I would never harm any woman in any way. He says, absolutely not. And in fact, her family knew this, as demonstrated by text message between Ashley and her mom in 2026 when Ashley accidentally lost my credit card. Why the fuck do you have this? So, yeah, here's the message. Hey, what's going on? That's her mom. Ashley says, no luck at the valet. And they helped me search the car. I got to rip the band aid off. He's not mad at all. He was like, well, now you don't have a credit card till the new one gets here. LOL. Me panicking for nothing. Your girl is traumatized. So these are supposed to be between her mom, and her mom says, it's been a traumatic ride for me. I'm confused. So the next message says, laughing my ass off. Why were you traumatized? She said, so I guess the mom said she was traumatized herself because of the lost card. I guess. She Ashley says, why were you traumatized? She said, he's not a violent man or doesn't lash out or anything. Why would you be scared? She says, me, I was scared because it's my first credit card he's giving me. Like a damn kid. That sound like a kid. But he says these is the messages between her and her mother, but this doesn't mean that they knew you wasn't that way. People hide it all the time. Did he give up parents her did he give her parents her belongings that's at his house? I don't know. You know, I think they wasted their time with some of these questions because this doesn't mean that you never threatened her, that you were never violent. That doesn't mean that. This was in 2025. So he got her phone. I don't see where I need the comment. Oh, Oh, yes. Yep, he had her phone. Because Ranithia been saying that. She said that like a couple of times in this chat. And clearly he had to, because how did you get these messages? He said, I did, however, tolerate Ashlee becoming physical with me on more than one occasion. Of course, because you guys know we're the angry Black women. So let's point her as that. He says, I did, however, tolerate Ashlee becoming physical with me on one or more occasion, including in Ben. She also confided with me that she had been in multiple abusive relationships with other men. TMZ asks, after Ashlee was discovered, she was still alive and was taken to the hospital, where she died the next day. The family said, during that time, you were distant and they found that odd. Do you feel that you were distant? So he says, while Ashlee family is entitled to their feelings, and the reality is that I was entirely preoccupied with trying to save Ashlee. During this whole period, I did everything in my power to assist the doctors and nurses frantically working to keep Ashlee alive. I even created a Google Share Doc that I used to constantly update Ashlee's family with every bit of information as I was coordinating with multiple doctors, hotel staff, and even a Medi Evac service provider out in Nairobi. I know that they received this Google Doc that had all the information in it because they shared it with other members of the family and friends who requested to access it. Okay. So he's basically saying that he created a Google Doc and shared it with some of the family so that he can update them on the things that was going on. Right? Now, in this Google Doc, this person says, share document. They shared it with Sean. We Will Save Ashlee was the name of the doc. And that's, I guess, one of the family members and another one of the family members. Okay. Now, I don't see the mom or the dad's name. So did you share it with them? And then this is the um flying doctor's documentation for the Medi Evac coordination out in Nairobi. Um, I don't even know what this is, to be honest. Basically, I guess they was trying to see how much it would be to airlift or get her back home or airlift her to a hospital within Nairobi. Yeah, I guess that's what he was trying to do. Of course she wasn't. She was supposed to tell her mom, this nigga be whooping her ass and I lost his credit card. He really gonna whoop on me today. Yeah, like it didn't make sense. They didn't dig enough or give him pushback enough. Um, they then asked him, do you have any regrets about how you handle things? He says, I regret that I couldn't alleviate Ashlee's deep mental anguish or pain sooner. She shared numerous deeply disturbing things with me in the weeks and days leading up to her death. So why didn't you reach out her family then? Why did you even go on that trip? If she was feeling like that, why didn't you get her help then and let her family know? Why didn't you include them in what was going on then? And she spiraled quickly during that time. I wish I could have brought her over from the darkness into the light. They asked him, we were told that Ashlee's family didn't invite you to her funeral. Were you aware of this? He says, although we had been in communication during Ashlee's final hours, Ashlee's mother never reached out to me after April 9th, and her father never reached out to me after April 10th. I decided to respect their desire for distance. Moreover, my priorities were to get Ashlee's remains home and to cooperate with the authorities to assist them in their investigation. There was simply never any form of communication from her parents or any members of her family with me with respect to the funeral. So it sounds like they didn't keep him, but since they didn't reach out to him, or since April, basically the days after it happened, they didn't reach out to him. he said he decided to give them their desire for distance. Then they asked him, "Would you have gone?" He said, "Absolutely." He said, "Have you?" I don't think he would have. I think he was too afraid to go. "Have you done anything to honor her since her passing?" He says, "Yes. Since I was assisting the authorities in Zanzibar with the investigation, I was unable to attend her funeral. I was still in Zanzibar, so on that day I wrote a eulogy and I posted it at 11:11. Okay, so we all know what that said. We read that um before. He says Ashley wanted to get married on 11/11/2027. She always would tell me it's 11:11 when it would show up on the clock. Later this summer, I plan to do a very private celebration of her life in honor of her." Well, my thing is, if she wanted to get married on 11/11/27, why are you doing something later this summer? Wouldn't you be doing it on 11/11, maybe 2026? But hey, I don't know. Let me see what you say, Andrea. People know if they go to these countries and commit these unalivings, I think you mean, that they can get away with it. It's just like when in a unaliving happens in the US, people run to other countries to escape. Absolutely. Yeah. Um, what is he talking about getting her body back home? He didn't have anything to do with getting her body back home. So I think the way that he think he participated in getting her body back home is by cooperating with authorities, which did you have a choice? So I guess by him cooperating, he felt like by once they got all of his stuff, his things, his um you know what I'm trying to say, his statements, then they would send her over. So I guess that's how he called himself doing it. I don't know. So he's only releasing these messages just to make him look innocent. That's it. That's all. Yeah, absolutely. So he goes on to say, I've also begun the process of setting up a 501c3 foundation in honor of Ashley's legacy and to aid others who are grappling with mental health struggles. I will be making a more detailed announcement about it at an appropriate time in the near future. If you could say, they asked him, if you can say anything to Ashley's family, what would you say? He says, as a father myself, I can't imagine how difficult it must be to lose a child. I hope that you are able to find a small measure of peace thinking about the incredible impact that Ashley made during her time on earth and the impact of her legacy will have for her and the impact that her legacy will have for years to come. Sorry. Ashley was my soulmate and I will never allow her to be forgotten. Okay. Then they says, I want to now talk about the aftermath, specifically the backlash you received since her death and how has that been for you? He said, in a word, horrifying. The day after Ashley passed, I had no time to grieve, as I immediately began cooperating with authorities in their investigation. I could have flown home on my own on April 10th, but I skipped the flights to stay back and ensure that Ashley got home first. I don't believe that. I don't believe that's why you skipped the flight. Um, the legacy media and social media trolls began to run with false narratives of suspicion, of which I yeah, whatever. I began to receive a barrage of racially fueled death threats. I still do today. Moreover, my family's safety was at risk, as well as the safety of my family members, friends, employees. It's been incredibly painful to lose Ashley. The hate and the lies told by so many in service of the lie that I somehow had anything to do with her death that made the grief that much more difficult to comprehend. So that's how he feel about the backlash. Do you feel race contributed to the hate you were and are receiving? He says, without question. The false narrative that some members of the legacy media and online trolls decided to run with was about race, wealth, and power, not the mental health issues that afflicted Ashlee. She never would have wanted this. Although Ashlee was proud of her heritage, she never defined herself or others by race. She looked at everyone on their individual merits. Now, I will say this. If he could have stopped all of those narratives immediately. Okay. If he knew all of this and he felt like people wasn't making it about mental health, well, nobody ever said she had mental health issues. You didn't come out and tell it. Her family was asked. So I don't think that it could be focused around mental health because everybody it kept that away, if that's true. So they say, in a way, did you understand where suspicions were coming from? Even if you disagree with them, he says, of course, as mentioned, the false story from the media was about race, wealth, and power. But I also became a scapegoat. I'm referring to the writings of the contemporary philosopher. Then he went on into this. The late Rene Girard and his view on scapegoating aligns perfectly with my experience. When a group of people are suffering from pain, anger, and frustration from an acute event, which he says Ashlee's self deletion, they find an object to sacrifice. He says the object was himself. And only when that object or person is expelled or eliminated do they have the strength to move on from the source of pain. Okay. So he says the tragedy of this circumstance is that the focus should be on remembering Ashlee's greatness and preserving Ashlee's legacy. Did they ask the parents this? Yes. They did. They asked them. And it was when they asked them, Tyrese, they said, the dad basically said, basically, like, look at her social media. But that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't show. You see what I'm saying? No, they did not give a clear answer. So he says, given the suspicions that were raised, it was of the utmost importance to have an investigation into Ashlee's tragic death. That was comprehensive, forensic, and professional. I'm extremely grateful for the dedication and effort put in by the litany of agencies and individuals involved, including Deputy Director Shimbria, the entire Tanzania Police Force, the Director of Public Prosecutions, the Zanzibar Commission, all of those people over there that helped him. That's what he's saying. But not least, the entire outstanding team of the U.S. State Department, both U.S. and Tanzania based. We're almost done. So he says, they asked him, how did the official findings affect you emotionally? Did they bring any sense of closure? He says, obviously, I already knew the truth and have been grieving the entire time. When the official findings were announced, I felt a deep sense of renewed pain, but also purpose. Ashley's story needs to be told so we can honor and cherish what she brought into this world. Her death will not be in vain and her legacy will be preserved. They asked him, how has your life changed since losing Ashlee? It's been absolutely devastating, he says. None of this feels real. Ashlee's death has been a nightmare of nightmares. Everything in my life today reminds me of her, and her absence is a constant reminder of the tragedy that has taken place. They asked him, what do you miss most about her? He says everything. Ashlee has such an outsized impact on my life that there is no specific thing that I miss about her. I miss it all. And then the last question is, what do you want the world to remember about Ashlee Jenae? I don't want the world to remember Ashlee Jenae. I want the world to remember Ashlee Robertson, my soulmate and best friend. I want people to understand her incredible story and how she navigated life, her creativity and intelligence, her gifts, and ultimately her love for the very select people she let be in her life. The ending of her story is an incomprehensible tragedy, but the chapters of her life that preceded need to be shared, and it's my mission to do just that. And that is it. And that is all. And that is the interview that TMZ did with Joe. What are y'all final thoughts? And just so you guys know really quickly, this is the page. Wow. That he has on Instagram. It's called I Cannot Tell You. It's, I guess, supposed to be now in dedication of Ashlee. You guys can definitely go look at it. Yeah. Shirley Tinsley, welcome in. Absolutely. Justice for Ashlee. I just hope, may Ashlee rest in peace. I hope that her parents got the answers or get the answers that they are looking for. It's sad. If her parents don't come out and clear this shit up, then what are we to think? Simple. Some of it anyway, because I feel like, yes, they were asked, did she suffer from mental health? And if she did, if this is true, then clearly she did, So thank you guys. It looks like, let me see something. It looks like 2017. And it just looks like he's just trying to really, really, really distance himself so people, because now he's back in the US. So people won't look at him crazy. But in October 24th, 2017, she shared this. And it says, why didn't she tell us she was depressed? She did, it says. She told you when she was started hiding in her room. She told you when the cat suddenly started scratching her more than usual. She told you, basically, she shared this. So I guess he's trying to say she was depressed. She was trying to tell people and they didn't listen. Nope. And for him to make so many calls during that time and they wasn't legally married is crazy. How they even considered him the next of kin was crazy to me. But hey, that's how it happens. All right, y'all. I'm gonna get out of here. Thank y'all for coming, chilling with me, and going over this interview. I shall see y'all soon, sooner than later. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Yeah, and get ready for that work week. Have a great rest of the day.
Yeah. Let's go. Welcome to Cree's Conversation Lounge. Hey, 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 hey. Step in the room, whole vibe shift. Timeline messy, I clock that quick. Real talk heavy, no sugar, no glaze. When Chris start talking, they stuck for days. Screenshot ready, receipts on file. Some love the truth, some hate the style. Boss talk only, I speak then react. If the story get crazy, I'm bringing it back. Talk, yeah. Boss talk, yeah, the truth run loud. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cree's Conversation, we run this crowd. Yeah, yeah. Mic high, yeah, the pressure on. Yeah, yeah. When Creed go live, they clicking on. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Boss talk, no filter, no filter, no fear. If it's real or messy, it's landing right here. Late night energy, lights stay low. Chat going crazy, views on go. No fake reactions, I keep it raw. Unpacking the drama, exposing the flaw. Some throw shade, some show love. Still trending heavy, I rise above. From viral moments to real life pain. Could break it down and run it again. Run it, let's go. Boss talk, yeah, the truth run loud. Yeah. Cree's Conversation, we run this crowd. Yeah. Real talk, yeah, the vibe too strong. Yeah. Once you put up, you locked in long. Pour up the tea, get comfortable now. Conversation Lounge, we setting the tone. Big Crit energy, facts on display. Welcome to the lounge, now press play.